Hey there, flowers. It's Rose. I am here dying because it's 80 degrees, and even with the window open and my AC on, I am not meant for the heat. But, I have my tank top on. Sun's out, guns out. Rock on, right? So, last week we talked about sexual orientation and gender identity. This week we are moving on to a little heavier subject, that of depression. This kind of ties into the suicide talk I had a couple weeks ago. I am in no way a healthcare professional. I am not a therapist. I have no certification or degree to provide help with. So if you are struggling with depression or suicide, please seek professional help. I'm going to put a link down in the description box of a site that actually does provide professional help. And I'm also going to post the suicide hotline again. I'm just here sharing my stories and sharing some facts that I found online through .org and .net sites. Depression is something that I struggled with. I still struggle with. It's something very personal to me. So the facts I have today, I actually wrote them all down because I am not good at remembering things. So, according to the World Health Organization, 300 million people worldwide suffer with depression. That's a lot of numbers. So it's one of the most recognized mental health disorders. It's actually one of the most common ones in the US. And it's very common in women, more so than men. And I'll explain why a little later on. Depression is actually the cause of 2/3 of the 30,000 reported suicides in the US each year. 2/3 of 30,000 suicides. Depression was the cause. That's a big number. So it's definitely something that we struggle with as a society and we struggle to catch. Along that, the death rate from suicide is higher than death from cancer, liver disease, homicide. It's higher than any of that. So, and the suicide, like I said, 2/3 of them are from depression. So that's, it's kind of a big deal. It's something we should be taking seriously. Looking through my notes. Give me a second. I am in no way a professional YouTuber either, so this is just me spilling facts. Up to 80% of those treated for depression show an improvement in their symptoms, but despite that high success rate, nearly 2 out of 3 people with depression do not seek treatment. I was one of those 2 people for a long time, so I know how it feels to go without treatment. I know how scary it is to seek out treatment, but it's worth it. Depressive episodes can be mild, moderate, or severe, and it's kind of hard to judge on your own, except for when they're severe. So it's really hard to think about. You hear a lot of people in like movies and in the books that say, I'm feeling depressed, when they're really just feeling sad. And feeling sad is not depression. Like, they're in no way, like, just being sad does not mean you're depressed. Saying you're depressed because your mom won't let you go to the mall, not depression. Saying you're depressed because you need to sleep, not depression. Depression is a mood disorder. It's characterized by prolonged feelings of sadness and loss of interest in daily activities. So, normally, depression characterized by medical professionals is something that lasts over 2 weeks. So it's a prolonged feeling of sadness over 2 weeks. That's a depressive episode. There's no one cause for depression. Depression is a unique combination of your genetic makeup and environmental conditions. And I have some examples of what could cause depression. Your brain's physical structure and chemistry. history of depression within the family, history of other mental disorders within the family, like anxiety, stressful or traumatic events, hormone changes, and certain medications can also cause depression. So those are all reasons that you could have depression. There's different types of depression, and I'm going to go through a list that I found on Anxiety and Depression Association of America, which is the site that I'm going to put down in the description box. There's major depression, which is the most common. It's recurrent episodes throughout your life, which is what I have. Dysthymia is a persistent over a year or more. It's pretty much like you're living on autopilot. That's what people describe it as. Seasonal affective disorder. This is where you hear that I have seasonal depression. It's affected by the lower amount of natural sunlight that the body is getting, which happens in winter. So that's why you hear people say I have seasonal depression. It's because their body goes on shutdown when they have less natural sunlight. Atypical depression is a heaviness in the limbs. You're easier prone to be irritable. You're prone to overeating and oversleeping. Bipolar is when you alternate between mania, which is, frenzy, and depressive episodes. So even though it's not strictly depression, it's categorized in the types of depression because it has depression in it. Psychotic depression is when you experience hallucinations or delusions, or you go catatonic during your depression. Postpartum, this is where that whole women experience it more than men. Postpartum, when after giving birth, women experience postpartum depression, otherwise known as, baby blues. And premenstrual depression, which is a severe depression that shows up during the second half of a menstrual cycle. Situational depression is triggered by a life-changing event. So those are some examples of different types of depression. Again, I'm not a medical healthcare professional. I'm not telling you that you have these types. Do not assume you have these types. Definitely seek professional help. Don't self-diagnose. Some symptoms of depression, just general symptoms: persistent feeling of sadness, hopelessness, emptiness, irritability and frustration, loss of interest in daily activities, difficulty sleeping or oversleeping, fatigue and lack of energy, difficulty thinking, appetite or weight change, recurrent thoughts of death and suicide, and there's also some physical symptoms of headaches, back pain, and stomach aches. So depression is definitely more than just feeling sad. There's a lot of causes for depression. There's a lot of different types of depression, and there's a lot of symptoms. And definitely do not self-diagnose. Look for professional help, and definitely seek professional help if you are feeling at all any way depressed. Like I said, I'm going to put the Anxiety and Depression Association of America link down in the description box. They have sites for help. They have therapists for help. They have different articles. And then I'm also going to put the suicide hotline. If you or someone you know has experienced any sort of suicidal tendencies, definitely give them a call. Definitely seek help. You guys, I love you guys all. I want you guys to see another day. So that's what this week is going to be about. Like always, Wednesday is going to be story time. Friday, another wrap up. If you guys are new to my channel, I'm Rose. I am a soon-to-be college graduate. I just talk about stuff that I've experienced in my life, and share some facts and stories about it. If you guys have any topics that you want me to cover, put it in the comments or send it to my Twitter @RoseYouTubes. If you're new and you want to get notified when I post, you can hit that subscribe button. Otherwise, I think that's all for today. So wait until Wednesday. We'll share some stories, some personal stories from me. Until then, I love you all, and I'll see you then.